Movie review. The people around Dan Morgan would say that he's a nice guy, a nice neighbor. He's a good salesman at a local car lot. Oh, and Dan has a lovely wife, Jess, and 2 teen kids, Nina and Kyle. Other than that, people probably wouldn't have anything else to say about Dan. They, frankly, don't even know anything else about their neighbor Dan Morgan. Even Jess and Dan's kids only know him as a pretty laid-back, well-organized and non-spontaneous nice guy. And that is exactly how Dan wants it. He doesn't stand and speak at school board meetings. He never makes crazy snap decisions. He doesn't post on social media. He avoids pictures altogether. And he flies under everyone's radar. Why? Well, because Dan loves his family and the low-key, borderline boring life they lead, for one thing. And secondly, Dan has a past. Sure, you can smile and say that everyone has a past. But not like Dan's. 18 years ago, Dan was, well, a government assassin. He killed a lot of people. And he has to stay invisible these days to keep those past associations from rearing their ugly heads and gobbling up all he now cares for and hopes to protect. Unfortunately, some young jerk took Dan's photo when he and his wife were out enjoying an anniversary celebration. And when Dan politely asked him to delete it from his phone, that sneering so purposely posted the pic to his socials. A few days later, the first thug showed up at the local supermarket while Dan was carrying his infant son and shopping for diapers. And that steely-eyed goon tried to knife Dan, through his son. Dan didn't kill the attacker. He simply incapacitated him and got out of the store as quickly as possible. And here he is now, standing in the living room of his empty house, holding his son and zipping through all the possible plans for escape in his head. Looks like it might be time to gather his cache of hidden weapons, money and passports to take his family on a completely unexpected vacation. That's it, a road trip with no phones, and all paid for in cash. Nice guy Dan is going to have to throw aside all his well-ordered plans and schedules and do something spontaneous. Jess will probably love the idea. She's never seen this side of Dan before. Truth is, everyone's about to see a side of Dan that they've never seen before. Positive elements. Dan sincerely loves his wife and kids. And he goes to dangerous lengths to protect them. Of course, his idea of protection also includes lying to them for years, which isn't so positive. Ultimately, Dan is willing to give up everything that he loves if it means that his endangered family will be safe. On their long road trip together, Dan and his family have an opportunity to talk and bond. They forcibly put aside their devices. Dan says, "I really do think social media is disgusting and gross." The family members, sans distractions of smartphones, learn about one another and grow closer.